Hey guys, welcome to the next review of the Star Trek film. It can easily be said that if Star Trek II The Wrath of Khan is the greatest from the original cast, then this one is the greatest from the Next Generation cast, and that, of course, is Film 8, Star Trek First Contact. This was a fucking awesome film, and it shares the honor with Star Trek II of being one of the only Star Trek films in my top 100 favorite films of all time. This one has the directorial debut of Jonathan Frakes, who of course plays Commander William Riker on Next Generation. This was like number 2, because number 2 was basically a sequel of a television episode. You can safely say this was a sequel to a couple of the episodes on Next Generation. Of course, the two-parter of The Best of Both Worlds, where Captain Picard is taken by the Borg and he's assimilated into their into their collective. So that's what made this film great, because we found out when we found out that there was going to be an 8th film and it was going to be done with the Borg, I think everybody went apeshit, because the Borg is totally a better villain than the Klingons, Romulans, Cardassians, Ferengi, or anything. So I shouldn't say that, because the new film has Romulans, but at the time the Borg was just the bomb. They still are. Has very good elements of number 2 and number 4 in this. Number 2 with the revenge bit, and number 4 with the time travel, because there's a great action sequence with the new Enterprise, the NCC-1701E. Looks somewhat more like the original Enterprise than the Enterprise D. It's like this massive ship, like almost like a battle cruiser type ship. And you see the first great fight, because Picard can still kind of feel the Borg, because he's haunted by what was done to him. And when they get to the because they're not supposed to go, because they think Picard fighting the Borg would be a bad idea. They actually said it brings an unstable element to an already tense situation. But when they find out all the other ships are basically getting the shit kicked out of them, they go and help. And you can tell something. He can hear the Borg. He can hear them. He can feel them, and that. It's a great scene, especially seeing the new Enterprise fight for the first time. It's not a big fight, but it was a good fight. And then they find out the Borg have put a escape pod out, and they've created a temporal vortex, meaning they're trying to travel through time, which is what they do, to April 2063, which we find out in the Star Trek universe is just after the Third World War, where 600 million people have died, very few governments. You kind of wonder, will that happen? Though we hope not, but we hope Starfleet happens. But they bring back a really cool character from the original series. It was an episode called Metamorphosis, the character of Zefram Cochrane, who is the guy who basically invented warp drive, or warp capabilities, I will say. That sounds better. And he is played by the great James Cromwell. And you had Alfred Woodard, who was great. You had a great story. Everything about this movie is great. Even the cameos. They had the cameo of Robert Picardo, and he tries to do a DeForest Kelley line. He's like, "This isn't part of my programming. I'm a doctor, not a doorstop." Tries, but fails, because only DeForest Kelley could do DeForest Kelley lines, as I call them. Of course, you had Jerry Goldsmith back. This is one of the best Star Trek themes he's done. It's just a great score. And one of the biggest highlights, and the character who is almost tied with Khan as the greatest villain in a Star Trek film, is the very sadistic and very seductive Borg Queen, played by Alice Krug, I think is her name. She was great. I mean, a lot of the males who went to see this, they were just so attracted to her. I'm like, well, I think that was the point, that you are attracted to the bad girl. But her character was just so good. It was one of the biggest highlights of the film. But I think the major highlight is to see Picard, how he reacts to the Borg, and you see it in one way where Lily, Alfred Woodward's character, basically says, Captain Ahab has to go hunt his whale, and he denies it, but you know for sure that he's not doing this just to save humanity, but he wants revenge to what was done to him 6 years ago, which, oddly enough, I can understand, because if you are abducted and, like, tortured, or you've had your individuality just taken from you, and years later you have a chance to even the score, would you take it? I would. But, because if you notice in the last, of course you notice in the last reviews, I keep giving spoilers away, but the biggest spoiler is the ending, and that is something I'm not giving away. That got the greatest cheer out of the whole crowd. Ironically, this movie still stands as the most watched in the theater for me. I saw it 8 times, 3 times opening weekend alone. I will note, it came out November 22nd, I'm sorry, 1996. That was a bittersweet day, because we lost one of our beloved characters from the show, and that is Mark Leonard, who played Sarek. Spock's father had passed away that day, so it was kind of a bittersweet thing that happened. But very bittersweet victory for the Next Generation crew, because they actually got to work with him twice in the Next Generation series. Still stands as the highest grossing, till probably this weekend, the highest grossing Star Trek film, the $30 million. One of my fellow schmoes on JoBlo said he didn't expect Star Trek to make so big amount of money, but $70 million this weekend. And I told him, well, my dear, if it makes $70 million, it's already got the highest grossing opening weekend for a Star Trek film. But yeah, this was extremely well received. A lot of us think it's like I said in the beginning of my review, that is very true. It's my second favorite out of the series. It is, a lot of people loved it, or the critics loved it, non-Trekkies loved it. It was basically like that, because it was not only a Star Trek film, but it was a kick-ass sci-fi action film. Yeah. Can't really, I'm trying to think of something else to say, because like I said, this is my favorite, but I think this also proved that the Next Generation crew can stand on their own very well, I might add. 9 out of 10. It's great if you're not a Trekkie. Definitely check it out, because like I said, it's a great action science fiction film as well as a Star Trek film. So, but yeah, you will see, you'll fall in love with the villain, and there are some great moments between her and Data. So I'm keeping those secret too. You have to watch them, because they are so memorable and so funny too. So yeah. Next up is the 9th film. So, oh shit, yawn. And I've got exactly 3 hours and 43 minutes to 3 hours 43 minutes to go until I leave to go see the movie. So, rate, comment, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.